Factoring trinomials. So we're going to look at some easier trinomials to factor. And what makes these trinomials easier to factor is that we do not have a number other than 1 that's in front of the x squared. So this is what we called a quadratic uh, trinomial because the highest degree is 2 and we have 3 terms and the coefficient of the x squared here is 1. So what we're going to do is factor. We have here r squared plus 4r plus 3. So I have the steps in your notes how to factor, and we're going to also cover these steps with, of course, this first example and then many other examples. Um, so let's set up our template because the first step says draw your parentheses and fill in the variables. So what we're going to do is draw our parentheses, and as well as we're going to go ahead and put the signs in there because we talked about that in the previous video. Well, the sign of the last term is positive, so we're going to have the same signs. Same what? We're going to have 2 positive signs in the parentheses. Now, when it says that we're going to fill in the variable or the variables here, I want us to talk about, let's look at what we have here in this trinomial. Our first term is x squared. Our second term is bx. And our last term is c. And we're putting numbers in for the b and c. Now, what I want us to do when we say fill in the variable, we're going to fill in the first term of the parenthesis. So with our first term, this is our first term, you're saying, okay, what times what will give us the x squared? Well, it's x and x. So we're going to fill in that first part there. That's going to be the simple part, breaking down the x squared if it's x to the fourth or x to the sixth. When we're talking about multiples of 2, that we can break it down. And remember, x squared is a perfect square because whenever we multiply x times x, we have x squared. Now, what we want to fill in, our c is called our last term, our bx is our middle term, but we want to fill in the last term. So how we're going to do that? So if you notice, I have the B color coded, which in the question here will represent 4, and the C, which is color coded in orange for the question, is representing 3. So we're going to draw a big X. Let's look at step 2. Here's our big X we're going to draw. And the top part of the X is where we're going to put the product C, meaning we're going to multiply the C. And for our B, the middle term, we're going to put that at the bottom of the X. That would be our B. And this is where we would add. Okay, so how we're going to do this. What you're looking for, look at the number in your last term. We're looking for factors of 3, meaning we're going to be multiplying, that will add to give us the middle term of b, which is 4. And then we're going to fill in the left and right hand side. We're going to put those numbers in. Well, what are factors of c that when we add those together would give us what we need for the middle term? This is the part that we want to fill in. I'm going to put a box here. Factors of 3. I think you would know that those factors of 3, since 3 is prime. Factors of 3 will be 1 and 3. So when we multiply 1 times 3, we have 3. When we add 1 plus 3, we have 4. So those factors that we have that's placed in the box, we're going to write those factors in for the last term. So we have 1 and we have 3. So our solution to this question is x plus 1 times x plus 3. And we can check our work by foiling. And when we FOIL our answer, we're going to go back to, and I said x, and the variable should be r. So that's my mistake there. I'm sorry. So let's go ahead and change this. So it should be r plus 1 and r plus 3. Okay, so we're going to do several examples of those. And so you get the feel of how to factor a trinomial where the leading coefficient, meaning the x squared, is 1.